Very shortly, the latest grift is about to be released and go live on Bitcoin. Let's talk about runes. Welcome back, everyone. That's right. You knew that we were going to have to talk about runes, so let's dive into it. Here's a tweet from Libero, and yeah, let's see here. Are you bullish enough on runes? Nope, I am not. Casey Rodomar is dropping runes in April, and we're about to witness the grand opening of the biggest sky casino in space. Shitcoins on Bitcoin. Spoiler alert, there's already shitcoins on Bitcoin with BRC20 tokens, but of course, right, the marketing, you have to hype it up. You got to hype it up. So runes are about to shake things up. I'm pretty sure they're just going to do more of the same shit with just another wrapper. That's all it is, just a brand new wrapper. Anyways, my thesis is that we're going to see a bunch of new wallets getting all hyped up about Bitcoin thanks to runes. Ancient whales, as Udi Wertheimer likes to call them that, going to be waking up with their wallets loaded, ready to play. Silk Road heads with blacklisted UTXOs can finally spend those Bitcoins that have been gathering dust. And I bet that degens from every other chain will be joining the fun. Runes is the next big thing. I would not fade it. And people are going to be gambling hard to stack sats. No, they aren't. They're just going to be degenning and losing their fucking shirts. Anyways, what are runes? They're fungible tokens directly on Bitcoin, a way more efficient and simpler version of the clumsy, clunky BRC20 standard. Okay, before we even continue on, this is obviously a marketing tweet, okay? And of course, citing Udi, right? To anyways, the degenerates, right? That's kind of like that's like flag waving, letting everybody know, oh look, it's Udi approved, and he's so good at catching future trends, and blah blah blah. Anyways, it's all just fucking nonsense marketing. That's number one. Number two, this idea of ancient whales who can't spend their blacklisted UTXOs. Why don't you show me these people? I'd love to know who these whales are that can't spend their quote-unquote blacklisted UTXOs. I'm pretty sure that they can go through a CoinJoin service. There are many ways that they can clean up, so to speak, those UTXOs. So that narrative of the blacklisted UTXOs is complete fucking nonsense, okay? It's, again, this is bullshit to make you think that there's money that isn't being seen in the system because they can't use it. But look, now we're bringing this piece of crap to Bitcoin, so that money is going to be free in the system, and you could get a piece of it if you're in. It's so fucking pathetic. Anyways, I think that this comment right here sums it up from exactly the type of person that you're going to get to fleece in this market. We will rich. And here's the response from the original poster. The ones that doesn't fade, gonna make it. This sounds a lot like every other shitcoin ridiculousness that has come along. What are runes in Bitcoin? Runes are fungible tokens directly issued on Bitcoin using the runes protocol. Ordinal's creator, there you go, Casey Rodarmer, proposed the new protocol in September 2023, pitching it as a better, simpler alternative to the experimental BRC20 standard for fungible tokens. BRC20 tokens launched in March of 2023 by the pseudonymous developer Domo. About 3 months later, the value of BRC tokens soared, hitting a market cap of $1 billion. And of course, right, the importance of mentioning how much money went into it is to help create the idea that you are about to be on the ground floor of the next big thing, right? You're going to catch the next big thing. Look at that market, huh? $1 billion. Although the token standard allowed users to create Bitcoin native fungible tokens for the first time, it also led to excessive production of junk UTXOs. This is part of the marketing. And of course, I'm not even going to get into the discussion of spam, not spam, all of this. The wording is very particular. I do not support, nor do I condone the use of all of these affinity scams on Bitcoin. But what I do like to point out is the disingenuous languaging that is used in order to frame the narrative. Anyways, okay. So these junk UTXOs which clog the network, Rodarmer seeks to solve this issue. He's solving the issue, right? With a UTXO-based protocol that will prevent the generation of junk UTXOs. Now, let's back up here. The Bitcoin network never actually gets clogged. You either pay the fee or you don't for the transaction that you would like. That's it. You're either going to pay the fee or you're not. So this whole idea is just a disingenuous framing to say, hey, look, this other thing we made wasn't that great, but this new thing, you should pay attention and you should buy into it because this new thing is better and solves the problem of the old thing. So the old thing that they already grifted you with and made money on, that thing is dead. Now we've got this new thing and it's going to fix it, and you should be involved, right? Because otherwise you're not going to make it. Don't fade this one. It's stupid. Anyways, a little bit of education here behind Bitcoin. So Bitcoin uses the UTXO model where a transaction consists of inputs and outputs. When a transaction occurs, the input is deleted and an output is generated. The output left behind is referred to as the UTXO, which can be used later in a new transaction. In other words, unspent transaction outputs, UTXOs, are the coins left in a wallet after completing a transaction. Unlike other fungible token protocols for Bitcoin, Runes doesn't require off-chain data or a native token to operate. For instance, the Taproot Assets protocol uses UTXOs but stores asset metadata off-chain. Alternatively, Counterparty, a protocol built on top of Bitcoin blockchain, requires a native token for some operations and is not UTXO-based. The Bitcoin community has reacted to the Runes protocol with much enthusiasm that the first Rune token Rune was issued on the same day Road Armor made the announcement. So I just wanted to quickly take a look at the Rune chart for everybody. This is the Rune chart on the monthly. Yeah, it's not logarithmic, okay? And I mean, you can see here that it pumped and has dumped. And of course, now that Bitcoin is pumping again and there is some activity, right? There's some attention. It's getting a little bit of a pump, but immediately it began to dump. So doesn't surprise me, okay? That's all that this really is, okay? It's just going to be a pump and dump, and everything that comes out on it is just going to be a pump and dump as well. And of course, the people trying to sell you this bullshit are going to talk about all the wonderful qualities of this stuff that you don't need on Bitcoin, and they're going to tout how it's saving Bitcoin and this and that. And it's like, look, Counterparty never fucking saved Bitcoin. The Bitcoin naming service, the BitDNS. Yeah, you're like, I never heard of BitDNS. Exactly. Okay, so it's all just noise. It's all just noise. Nobody gives a shit about any of this stuff. These people are just simply using a hype cycle as an opportunity to fleece more noobs. Anyways, I will continue. So let's go back to our article and let's talk about a little bit more of how this Rune shitcoining works. So the token issuance and transfer. Creating a new Rune token begins with the issuance transaction where the symbol, token supply, and number of decimals are defined. The token supply is assigned to a specific UTXO, allowing a single UTXO to contain any amount of any number of runes, be it 1 billion, million, or less. UTXOs are used to keep track of the Rune token balances. Ordinals inscriptions are created by adding content like images, audio, and HTML files into the witness section of the Bitcoin transaction. The witness section was introduced by the SegWit upgrade, which changed the Bitcoin transaction format by dividing it into two parts. The first part holds the wallet addresses of the sender and receiver, while the witness segment contains transaction signatures. Instead of storing data in the witness part of the transaction, Runes stores data in op return. This factor separates the ordinals and Runes protocols from each other. So it's slightly different, right? But similar and uses less bloat. So next, we take a look. This is actually a pretty good, quick little chart, that they put in here about what the differences are between BRC20 tokens and Runes. So you can see here, you've got Runes on the left and BRC20 tokens on the right. UTXO based, Runes, yes. Ordinal theory based, no. The tokens are quote unquote fungible. On-chain footprint, minimal. And lightning capable. Runes, yes. BRC20 tokens, no. So there you go. The grift is just a little bit more fine-tuned, make it a little bit more acceptable to Bitcoiners, right? With the Runes protocol now in the picture, the issuance of fungible tokens on Bitcoin is becoming more and more polished. Okay, moving on to a little bit more information about I guess about this Xverse app, right? We actually kind of covered this in a previous clip, but it was interesting. I went to go click on the team, and all it does is give you an about page. It actually doesn't even show you a team. So I had to do a little bit more digging about Xverse. I found out that Xverse is actually the founder is this Hen or Yuken Lao. Now you might think, okay, well, Phil, like why does that make a difference? So I want you guys to think about this, right? This company that's essentially helping to enable shitcoining on Bitcoin, right, was started by this person. Okay, he was the founder. You could see right here on his LinkedIn, December 2020. But before that, he was an engineering partner at Blockstack PBC. And you might say to yourself, well, what is Blockstack? And it's kind of interesting because I had heard of this company a few years ago as well. And I asked a question once on Twitter. I said, why does Blockstack name themselves as an investor in Bitcoin? Obviously, nobody ever responded. So yeah, had to go do a little bit more digging on Blockstack. And here we go. Oh, but Phil, well, how come you're on this page? How come you're on the Stacks blockchain page? Stacks project was originally started by Munib Ali and Ryan Shea as Blockstack. STX became the first SEC qualified token offering in 2019. Blockstack PBC, a company working on the Stacks technology, raised around $75 million through a mix of venture capital and token sales. That's right, the main Stacks blockchain launched in 2021. So the Stacks blockchain, which is a total pre-mined shitcoin that is grifting off of the idea that they are building on Bitcoin. That's right, is now building more crap around Bitcoin by way of the Xverse app, which is helping grifters and shitcoiners essentially create more junk on Bitcoin. So that's the key, right? The key is to continue to make these grifts more and more acceptable. Okay, because if it's an outright grift and you can see that it's clearly a scam, we're going to put that in, we're going to put that in brackets because there are many different types of scams. So the better you can mask that scammery, essentially, the more people that you can get to participate. And I think that a really great example of that, even though it has nothing to do with NFTs, is products like Celsius and BlockFi, right? You've got in the case of Celsius, they had Alex Mashinsky, right, who was quote unquote already a successful CEO. He was the creator of voice over IP. So right away, there's some air of credibility. And we go take a look at BlockFi. It's similar, but not the same. Okay. They created an air of respectability and trust in the space. Look, guys, this is the same themes are going to play out over and over again. Okay. There's going to be a couple of people that are going to show you the outsized gains that they can make trading this absolute garbage, creating this absolute garbage. Okay. And the whole point of this is to get you to separate yourself from your Bitcoin and instead hold this worthless grift. Okay. Now, in terms of the argument, these runes, being that they take up less space, being that they have less bloat, it's most likely not as detrimental, so to speak, for the Bitcoin blockchain. But the thing is that these arguments are not cut and dry. They are not just black or white, because if a person is following the rules and creating this data and paying the fee, they're using an open system. And as much as I may disagree with them, and as much as I may not do this myself, and as much as I may tell other people not to do this, they are indeed following the rules. So all we can really do is hope that not as many people fall into this degeneracy. I've had this discussion a few times, actually. And I mean, society, right? Society has a lot of degeneracy in it, right? And then there's also the levels of degeneracy. Like some people would classify certain activities as degenerate, whereas other people wouldn't, right? What is the scale? I think it's a sliding bar. I don't think it's just black and white. I think it's a whole bunch of gray, and I think it's a whole bunch of variations. So anyways, all that not to say that, oh yeah, this isn't bad, because no, I do still think it's a fucking grift. I just think that, like other grifts, it's not cut and dry, and it blurs a line. And for the people who cannot see The difference, they are more likely to get hooked into this type of degenerate behavior and think that somehow they are going to accumulate more Bitcoin. I'm not a fan of the runes. Not a fan of the runes at all. Anyways, let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. That's our clip for today. I'm going to catch you all tomorrow.